Your broke mindset isn't a symptom. It's a lifestyle choice disguised as humility. You say you want to think rich, but you still treat your wallet like it's radioactive and your time like it's free refills. Millionaires aren't magicians. They just stopped thinking like bargain hunters at a garage sale of life. Fact 1. The broke person's discount addiction. 300 words. Poor thinking worships the discount sign like it's a religious icon. You see 20% off, and suddenly you're Warren Buffett in a Walmart hoodie, performing financial gymnastics to save $3 on something you didn't even want. It's the mental disease of mistaking spending less for winning. Millionaires, on the other hand, play a completely different sport. It's not about saving pennies, it's about multiplying dollars. When you chase discounts, your brain wires itself for scarcity. You get a dopamine hit every time you think you've beaten the system. But in reality, you've just trained yourself to prioritize cheap over valuable. You'll waste an hour of your life hunting coupons to save what you could have earned in 10 minutes if you focused on income instead. That's not thriftiness. That's economic self-harm with a smiley sticker that says frugal. Millionaire thinkers don't obsess over saving $5. They obsess over systems that make them $500. They understand that every decision has a time cost. They outsource, automate, and optimize, while discount addicts stand in line at Black Friday sales like they're storming the gates of financial freedom, only to walk out with 3 toasters and a receipt that looks like a cry for help. Here's the paradox. People who think poor chase deals, while people who think rich chase returns. One buys what's cheap, the other buys what compounds. And if you can't tell the difference, congratulations. The discount got you. Fact 2. The myth of working hard. You've been lied to since childhood. Work hard and you'll succeed, they said, as if effort automatically prints money. Hate to break it to you, but nobody's getting rich because they sweated the most. If hard work was the secret, coal miners would own private islands. The truth is brutal. Broke people worship effort, while millionaires worship leverage. The poor think success is linear. 1 hour worked equals 1 hour paid. That's adorable. The rich think exponentially. 1 hour worked should keep paying you forever. That's why a millionaire's calendar is full of strategy meetings, not overtime shifts. They build systems that make money while they sleep, while the rest of the world brags about the grind like it's a personality trait. Here's how the broke mindset traps you. It glorifies exhaustion. You wear burnout like a badge of honor, proudly saying things like, "I've been working nonstop." Translation: I've been sprinting on a treadmill that goes nowhere. Meanwhile, millionaire thinkers treat energy like capital, something to invest wisely, not burn for applause. And the irony? The people working 60-hour weeks often hate those who work 6 hours and make 10 times more. They call them lucky or privileged, conveniently ignoring the years those people spent learning how to make their ideas work harder than their hands. Millionaires aren't allergic to hard work. They're just smart enough to make it temporary. So, if your definition of success still involves sleep deprivation and bragging about your hustle, you're not building wealth. You're building a padded cell made of to-do lists. Stop asking, "How can I work more?" and start asking, "How can I make what I do work for me?" That's the day your paycheck stops being your prison warden. Fact 3. The comfort zone. A luxury coffin. Everyone says they want success, until they realize it requires being uncomfortable on purpose. Broke thinkers treat comfort like a right. Millionaire thinkers treat it like a drug. Pleasant in small doses, lethal in excess. The comfort zone isn't a cozy little sanctuary. It's a padded coffin where your ambitions go to die quietly while Netflix autoplays your excuses. See, the poor mindset chases emotional safety. "I'll start when I feel ready," you tell yourself, ignoring that ready is just code for never. You reject opportunities that feel scary, not realizing that fear is the bodyguard of every breakthrough. Millionaire thinkers know this. They don't like discomfort, they just respect it. They understand that discomfort is data. It tells you where growth lives. Think about it. Every skill, every income jump, every breakthrough you've ever had came right after something that made you feel stupid, nervous, or underqualified. But broke thinkers avoid those moments because they want guarantees, the financial equivalent of swimming lessons without getting wet. Meanwhile, millionaires cannonball into the deep end and figure it out on the way down. Here's the cruel irony. Your comfort zone charges interest, Every time you choose easy, you pay in invisible currency, opportunity cost. That job you didn't apply for, that side project you didn't start, that conversation you avoided. Those weren't harmless hesitations. They were compound losses. And over time, they cost more than any bad investment. So if your life feels stable, predictable, and low stress, congratulations. You've officially peaked in mediocrity. Millionaire thinking starts the moment you stop chasing comfort and start chasing competence. Comfort feels safe. Growth feels terrifying. Only one of them pays the bills. Fact 4. The next month delusion. The broke mindset has a favorite word, later. It's the financial version of a lullaby. Soothing, delusional, and guaranteed to keep you asleep forever. I'll start saving next month. I'll invest when I have more money. I'll take risks when I'm ready. Translation: I'll keep doing nothing until the universe sends me a personalized invitation to success. Spoiler: it won't. Millionaire thinkers know that later is just code for never. They understand that procrastination isn't laziness, it's disguised fear. You tell yourself you're being smart, cautious, or strategic. You're not. You're stalling because doing something now might prove that you're not as ready, skilled, or disciplined as you pretend to be. Next month is just a padded excuse that keeps you from confronting the ugly truth. That your dream doesn't need more planning, it needs momentum. Here's the funny part. Broke thinkers think they need more money to start, when in reality, they need more urgency. Millionaires start ugly. They start before the plan is perfect, before they know how it'll end, before it's comfortable. They understand that momentum creates clarity, not the other way around. Every empire started with someone saying, "Screw it, let's try." Every financial tragedy started with, "I'll do it next month." You'll never feel ready. You'll never have the perfect setup, the ideal conditions, or the magical moment where discipline suddenly becomes fun. You either act now or watch someone else make millions from the idea you're still thinking about. So, if next month keeps showing up in your sentences, go ahead and circle it on your calendar. That's the day your financial future dies of boredom. Millionaire minds act fast, fail faster, and fix as they go. Broke minds wait for permission, and by the time it arrives, they're already out of time. Fact 5. The ego tax. How pride keeps you broke. You think you're too smart to ask questions, too experienced to take advice, too different to follow proven systems. Congratulations, you're paying the most expensive tax on earth, your ego. It's invisible, it's recurring, and it quietly drains your bank account while you convince yourself you're doing fine. Broke thinkers confuse confidence with competence. They'd rather be right than be rich. That's why they'll argue with success coaches, mock investors, and ignore anyone making more money, because listening would mean admitting they don't know everything. Millionaire thinkers do the exact opposite. They're addicted to learning. They hire mentors, read obsessively, and surround themselves with people who make them feel like the dumbest person in the room, because they know that's how growth works. Here's the psychological trick. The ego hates uncertainty more than it hates poverty. It would rather keep you broke, but in control, than let you take advice that might make you rich but uncomfortable. So you double down on bad habits. You buy things you can't afford to prove you're doing well, or you dismiss opportunities because they weren't your idea. That's not independence. That's self-sabotage with good branding. Millionaires don't need to look smart. They need to be smart. They'll happily admit ignorance if it means getting closer to truth. They'll change strategies mid-sentence if someone presents a better one. That's why they evolve, while everyone else protects their fragile sense of being right. So, next time you feel the need to defend your financial decisions, pause. Ask yourself, am I protecting my wallet or my ego? Because only one of those actually appreciates in value. Millionaires let their pride take the loss so their portfolio doesn't have to. Broke thinkers? They'll die on the hill of, "I already knew that." Fact 6. The Netflix economy. Trading dreams for distraction. You don't need a financial advisor. You need a remote intervention. The modern broke mindset doesn't die from poverty. It dies from comfortably scheduled distraction. You tell yourself you're too tired to work on your goals, then mysteriously find the energy to binge 6 episodes of a show about people even dumber with money than you. That's not exhaustion. That's financial sedation. Broke thinkers treat entertainment like oxygen. Millionaire thinkers treat it like dessert. Enjoyable, but earned. The poor mindset needs constant distraction to escape the reality it refuses to fix. Every just one more episode is a tiny financial sedative, dulling your hunger for progress. You scroll, you swipe, you laugh at memes about being broke, and every second your potential is quietly dying of screen time. Meanwhile, millionaires schedule boredom. They understand that silence breeds ideas. They give their brain room to wander, not into someone else's storyline, but into solutions. Every business idea, every innovation, every big move is born in the gap between stimulation and stillness. But you can't hear your million-dollar thoughts over the background noise of Netflix, TikTok, and your favorite influencer explaining manifestation hacks from a rented Lamborghini. Here's the truth. Attention is the new currency. Every hour you give to distraction is an investment, just in someone else's empire. You're not a consumer, you're labor for the algorithm. So the next time you hit next episode, ask yourself, what if I gave my goals the same binge energy I give my comfort shows? Because while you're watching fake millionaires live fake lives, real ones are quietly building theirs, in silence, off-screen, and without the autoplay button. Fact 7. The friendship expense. How broke circles keep you. Broke, you don't need a financial planner. You need new friends, because no matter how smart you are, you can't out-earn your environment. Broke thinkers hang out with people who treat poverty like a personality, the ones who brag about being relatable while making fun of anyone who dares to want more. It's not humility, it's group hypnosis with a 2-drink minimum. Here's the trap. Broke circles worship comfort disguised as loyalty. The moment you start thinking bigger, they call you different, fake, or obsessed. Of course they do. Your ambition threatens their excuses. If everyone around you is broke but comfortable, then trying to improve yourself looks like betrayal. You're not leaving them behind. You're just refusing to drown politely. Millionaire thinkers, on the other hand, curate their social circle like an investment portfolio. They don't spend time with people who drain their energy or mock their goals. They talk about ideas, not gossip. They trade tips, not pity. They surround themselves with people who make success feel normal, not miraculous. The broke mindset treats friendship as emotional welfare. Everyone gets equal time, regardless of contribution. Millionaire thinking treats it like partnership, mutual growth or mutual goodbye. That's why rich people sound cold to you. They're not cold, they're selective. They know that proximity is contagious, and if everyone around you is broke, you'll eventually catch it like a social flu. So, if you're wondering why your life feels stuck, check your group chat. Are your friends celebrating progress or just complaining with better lighting? Because you can't talk about abundance in a room that worships survival. Millionaires invest in networks that grow. Broke people invest in nostalgia and call it loyalty. Fact 8. The savings trap. When playing it safe keeps you stuck, you think you're being responsible by saving money. Adorable. The truth? Saving alone is the financial equivalent of hiding your dreams in a sock drawer. You're not protecting your future. You're slowly suffocating it under the weight of your own caution. The broke mindset treats safety like a strategy. Millionaire thinkers treat it like a short-term parking spot. Poor thinkers love security because it feels productive. You look at your savings account like it's proof of progress, except it's not growing. It's just sitting there, quietly losing value to inflation while you pat yourself on the back for being smart. You're basically rewarding yourself for not drowning while refusing to learn how to swim. Millionaires know money has one job: to move, to circulate, to multiply. They don't worship the number in their account, they weaponize it. They invest in skills, assets, and opportunities that stretch them past fear. That's why they're rich, not because they hoard money, but because they make it work harder than they do. Meanwhile, broke thinkers act like money is a fragile pet that might run away if it gets outside. And here's the irony. You're terrified of losing money but completely fine with losing time. You'll waste 5 years playing it safe. Then, realize the risk wasn't investing, it was waiting. The world changes faster than your savings account grows, and by the time you feel ready, your caution will have quietly turned into regret. Millionaires don't save for safety, they invest for freedom. The broke mindset hides money from risk. The millionaire mindset sends it out to conquer. Because while you're babysitting your dollars, they're out there raising an army of their own. Fact 9. The victim mindset, the fastest way to stay poor. You know that friend who starts every sentence with "must be nice"? Yeah, that's poverty speaking through them. The broke mindset loves victimhood because it's free therapy with no homework. It's emotionally satisfying, intellectually lazy, and financially devastating. When you believe life is happening to you, not because of you, congratulations, you've outsourced your success to the universe's complaint department. Poor thinkers narrate their lives like a tragedy. The economy's bad, the system's unfair, rich people got lucky. Sure, maybe some of that's true. But guess what? Millionaires deal with the same world. They just don't waste time auditioning for the role of helpless extra in their own story. They ask, how can I win anyway? Because while broke minds are busy collecting reasons, rich minds are collecting solutions. Here's the dirty secret. Being a victim feels good. It gives you identity, attention, and an excuse. You get sympathy without responsibility. But that comfort is poison. It keeps you from ever testing your potential because failure would ruin the narrative. You can't claim to be powerless and powerful at the same time, so you pick the one that's easier to maintain. Millionaire thinkers still face setbacks. They just don't romanticize them. They don't post quotes about haters or bad luck. They treat problems like puzzles, not punishments. They know that the moment you blame, you surrender control. So if you're constantly explaining why you can't win, stop. No one's buying that story except you. The victim mindset is cheap dopamine. Accountability is expensive, but it pays dividends forever. Millionaires don't wait for fairness. They build leverage. Broke people wait for justice like it's Amazon Prime, wondering why it never arrives on time. Fact 10. The luxury illusion. When looking rich keeps you broke. You're not broke because life's unfair. You're broke because your ego has a shopping problem. The modern poverty trap doesn't look like hunger. It looks like a brand new iPhone paid for in monthly installments. Broke thinkers buy symbols of wealth. Millionaire thinkers buy leverage. The difference? One buys Gucci to look successful, the other buys assets so they never have to check price tags again. The broke mindset treats luxury like therapy, a temporary fix for permanent dissatisfaction. You convince yourself you deserve it because you've worked hard, even though what you deserve is a strategy. You're not rewarding yourself. You're renting self-esteem at 19% APR. You buy things to impress people who don't care, while the people who do care about you wonder why you keep mistaking validation for value. Millionaires see consumption differently. They don't need to prove wealth, they need to protect it. They understand that every dollar flaunted is a dollar that stopped working. That's why the truly rich look boring. Plain t-shirts, old cars, quiet houses, because their money's not in their closet. It's out multiplying in the world. Meanwhile, the aspiring rich flex their way into financial purgatory, mistaking aesthetics for achievement. Here's the irony. The people trying the hardest to look rich are usually the ones financing their poverty. The car loan, the credit card debt, the $8 latte habit. They're not luxuries. They're shackles with designer logos. Millionaire thinkers spend on freedom. Broke thinkers spend on applause. So next time you reach for that shiny status symbol, ask yourself, do I want to own wealth or just borrow the costume? Because pretending to be rich is the most expensive hobby in the world. And unlike real wealth, it depreciates the moment you post it. Fact 11. The job worship. Mistaking a paycheck for security. You think your job is your safety net, but it's actually your golden cage, shiny enough to keep you quiet, secure enough to keep you stuck. The broke mindset worships the paycheck like it's divine proof of worth, repeating the same corporate prayer every 2 weeks. Direct deposit, deliver us from overdraft. Meanwhile, millionaire thinkers see jobs for what they are, stepping stones, not finish lines. Poor thinkers crave stability so badly they sell freedom for it. You tell yourself, at least it's a steady income, as if predictability and prosperity were synonyms. Spoiler, they're not. Your secure salary is just a number someone else decided you're worth. You call it stability, but really it's dependence, and one HR email could erase it overnight. Millionaires know this, which is why they build income streams, not resumes. Here's the quiet tragedy. The system rewards obedience, not intelligence. You're trained to be punctual, polite, and replaceable. You call it professionalism. They call it scalability. You're not building an empire. you're maintaining someone else's. And every raise you celebrate is just a slightly larger leash. Millionaire thinkers treat their job like seed capital. They use it to fund freedom, skills, ventures, side hustles, assets. They understand that employment is a tool, not an identity. But the broke mindset clings to titles like life rafts, manager, director, senior associate, as if adding adjectives to your job description magically builds wealth. Let's be honest, your boss doesn't pay you to be free. They pay you just enough to forget you're not. Millionaire thinkers escape that loop by asking a dangerous question. What would happen if my paycheck stopped today? Broke thinkers avoid that thought like it's cursed. But that's the difference. One plans for freedom. The other prays for Fridays. Fact 12. The self-improvement illusion. Learning everything, doing nothing. You've read every book, watched every motivational reel, highlighted every quote about mindset, and you're still broke. Why? Because your problem isn't ignorance, it's intellectual hoarding. The broke mindset confuses consumption with transformation. You're not learning to grow, you're learning to feel productive. You've built a library of wisdom and a resume of inaction. Here's how it works. Broke thinkers get addicted to preparation. They convince themselves they need just a little more info before starting. So they read, research, journal, and color code their plans like straight-A students of financial mediocrity. Meanwhile, millionaire thinkers treat knowledge like fuel. It's only useful when it burns. They learn something in the morning and apply it by lunch. That's why they move fast. Their curiosity has a return on investment. Every podcast, every course, every quote can become a dopamine hit that replaces actual work. You feel smarter, more inspired, and somehow still stuck. That's because your brain mistakes study for progress. You're not building a business. You're binge-watching motivation. You're not growing. You're hiding behind personal development because it's safer than taking a risk that might prove you're not ready. Millionaires learn differently. They study to simplify, not to stall. They know that the right lesson is useless without the right action. They don't chase perfect plans. They chase feedback from reality. Because real growth doesn't happen in books or webinars. It happens when you risk looking stupid in public. So if your bookshelf looks rich but your bank account doesn't, here's your wake-up call. Wisdom without execution is just another expense. Millionaire thinkers don't collect knowledge. They weaponize it. Broke thinkers keep highlighting sentences while their potential quietly gathers dust between the pages. Fact 13. The one-day syndrome. Dreaming like a visionary, acting like a tourist. You've got big plans. One day I'll start my business. One day I'll invest. One day I'll be financially free. Adorable. You talk about your future like it's a delayed Amazon delivery, guaranteed to arrive as long as you keep believing. The broke mindset treats ambition like a hobby, something to fantasize about when reality gets boring. Millionaire thinkers treat ambition like a deadline. Here's the truth. One day is the most expensive phrase ever invented. It's how you buy comfort today and pay with regret tomorrow. You think you're manifesting, but you're actually procrastinating in a fancier font. You romanticize your potential because it's easier than confronting your performance. Dreaming feels noble. Doing feels scary. So you keep choosing the version of success that doesn't require effort, the Pinterest board version. Millionaire thinkers don't daydream about their goals. They calendar them. They break the fantasy into deadlines, habits, and measurable steps. They know motivation expires faster than milk, so they build systems that work even when they don't feel like it. The broke mindset waits for inspiration. The millionaire mindset engineers momentum. And let's be honest, your someday story is getting old. You've been telling it for years, like a bedtime story to your own potential. You say you're waiting for the right time, but what you're really waiting for is permission to stop being scared. Newsflash, that permission isn't coming. Millionaire thinkers act first and fix later. They'd rather look foolish while learning than impressive while waiting. So next time you catch yourself saying, "One day, try this," replace it with an actual date. If it's not on your calendar, it's not in your future. Because dreams without deadlines are just excuses wearing ambition's clothes. Fact 14. The fear of success. The rich life. You secretly don't want everyone says they want to be rich until they realize what it actually costs. Not the money, but the change. The broke mindset isn't just scared of failure. It's terrified of success. Because success exposes you. It forces you to grow, to be seen, to take responsibility. It demands you stop blaming, stop hiding, and stop pretending you're trying. And deep down, that's the part that makes most people flinch. Here's the brutal irony. People sabotage their own progress not because they don't believe they can win, but because they are afraid of what winning will require. You say you want freedom, but you panic when opportunity arrives because it doesn't look safe or familiar. You say you want abundance, but you still hang out with scarcity. You say you want millions, but you're scared of being judged by people who gave up at hundreds. That's not humility. That's fear in a fake mustache. Millionaire thinkers aren't fearless. They're just self-aware enough to recognize when fear's in disguise. They know success isn't comfortable. It's invasive. It demands better habits, higher standards, and fewer excuses. It strips away everything fake and forces you to meet the version of yourself you've been avoiding. Most people would rather stay almost ready forever than risk seeing what they're truly capable of. So, if you keep getting so close, but never crossing the line, maybe it's not bad luck. Maybe you're scared of the upgrade, because success isn't just about having more. It's about becoming more. And that version of you? It's waiting right past the fear you keep calling preparation. So, which millionaire mindset glitch hit you hardest? The comfort coffin? The ego tax? Or maybe that next month delusion? Go ahead, confess your favorite financial self-sabotage in the comments. I promise, you're in very expensive company.